50 years prior, our people struggled and nearly being wiped out in Laos.
Those who remained were slaughtered.
Over 30,000 Hmong people died.
I was watching television on the news, and Vietnam was falling. And I watched people hanging onto the helicopters.
When Laos fell because of their role, the Hmong had to flee.
I would find a way that we could find a home, a new home for people that had to leave Vietnam.
I happened to be the very first Hmong refugee in the state of Minnesota.
Minnesota now has more than 24,000 refugees, with many of them coming from other states, as well as from the refugee camps in Thailand.
Minnesota's cold, but the hearts are warm here.
And Minnesota has probably a third of all the Hmong refugees in the United States.
We were allies, and now we're neighbors.
I'm proud to see that Hmong people in my lifetime have not shied away from challenges.
Learning a whole new language, an entirely different culture, has been especially hard for the Hmong of Laos.
For a long time, we want to speak English and navigate our society in the mainstream and leaving aside our Hmong language and culture.
And they are a proud people.
We have the ability to adapt and the ability to acculturate, not assimilate.
And that has evolved, and that has changed.
Board of every business that are owned by Hmong people, you will see the impact of the Hmong community on the state of Minnesota.
They want to become helpful people to the American population.
From doctors to lawyers to academics to teachers to social workers.
Never in their wildest dreams would I be standing here today accepting the position of mayor.
And just being Hmong itself, I think you carry a legacy, you're building a legacy.
I think the next generations, they're gonna do better than us, and I know that.
Our culture is so centered around stories. So you hear your grandma and grandpa and parents tell these stories, but this is such a good visual representation.
We never really had a written language, and so this was how we preserved our history.
Mm-hmm. And so we have a Hmong story cloth like this to tell our story and tell our history, but we're so close to the generation that was still doing this. Mm-hmm. So we're not far removed from this, which is, something that I think in a way is such a blessing to be able to have that generation. Yeah.
We are a very ancient, very old people, right? Our history dates back to 5,000 years.
I mean, it starts all the way in China.
Because there's conflict between the Chinese, the Hmong lost our kingdom, migrated south to southern part of China.
All the way through Laos.
And because of our relationship with the Americans during the Secret War of Laos and the Vietnam War, we ended up as refugees in the United States of America.
Ultimately making that trek to America.
What so proudly we hailed by the twilight's last gleaming.
2025 marked the 50 years since the end of the Secret War in Laos and the Vietnam War.
Vietnam was divided at the 17th parallel, north and south. Laos was supposed to be neutral. No one was supposed to be in Laos. But the Vietnamese was using Laos to supply the troops in South Vietnam. And so because the American could not be in Laos because it's a neutral country, the Americans then came and recruited the Hmong.
I was served the U.S. government in my country.
Lang Vong, like most of his tribesmen, was loyal to the U.S. during the war in Southeast Asia.
I was in the military at a very early age. I was about maybe 12 years old when I joined the military.
Lang served as a field translator.
At that time, a carbine rifle was too heavy for me, and I could not carry it very long.
This is like the main military operations. This is where like the Hmong SGU, Special Guerrilla Unit, that's where they're based out of.
The older soldiers had to help me carry my gun until we get to where they want us to, guard the road.
The Hmong probably saved over 50,000 American lives in Vietnam during the Vietnam War.
The Hmong people are fierce warriors, so when the U.S. needed seasoned soldiers to help fight communism in Laos, they turned to the Hmong.
People wonder why we call it the secret war, because it was held in secret.
Other Hmong directed bombing attacks or led risky rescue flights to pick up downed American pilots.
After the United States left Laos, the communists came after us.
When Laos fell, because of their role, the Hmong had to flee. Those who remained were slaughtered.
You have people being like taken away, blindfolded and taken away. Down here you have planes shooting at their homes, that kind of stuff. Then you have like people just, these ones, they're running away, they're hiding in the jungle.
Over 30,000 Hmong people died protecting American interests in Southeast Asia.
Every day,
When Laos fell, that's where people were catching those flights out of town.
I was at the airport trying to try to get onto a plane to come to Thailand.
I was watching television on the news, and Vietnam was falling. And I watched people hanging onto the helicopters and the horror of that.
Many people were fighting to get onto, a plane to come to Thailand.
My parents, they made that trek, leaving Laos and that kind of stuff too. And so, they told me stories about how they had to hide in the jungle, go by night, trying to run through the jungles. And so it's just to me, just as a kid hearing that, it's just it's terrifying.
Many of them drowned in the Mekong River.
Like my dad always tells about how when they cross the river, they just had to take sticks and tie them to their arms and hopefully they don't drown.
Just how many souls have been claimed by that, that Mekong River. And you think about had things gone differently for your parents or my parents, we wouldn't be standing here.
And we visited camps that were on the Thai-Cambodian border. The trauma of the camps themselves was something to behold.
refugee
It wasn't too long after we got back to the United States that I had this dream that I was trapped in a refugee camp and I couldn't get out. And I thought, this is the reality of people who are stuck.
And I made a commitment. I would find a way that we could find a home, a new home for people.
Do you remember the refugee camps at all?
Not at all. I don't at all.
But you have the picture.
I do have
yeah,
the
you have your picture?
Yeah. My baby picture.
Minnesota now has more than 24,000 refugees, with many of them coming from other states, as well as from the refugee camps in Thailand.
Those 7,000 Hmong who survived death and disease in a Thailand refugee camp have now resettled in this country.
And they asked me where I was going, and I said, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
I got a call that the family had arrived. They were at the airport.
They asked me, do you know how cold it is there in Minnesota? I said, no. They said, well, do you know how cold it is in the freezer? I said, yes. In Minnesota is probably colder than in the freezer.
It was below zero.
When I exit the airport, the door from the airport to go to the car that was waiting for me outside, I was having trouble catching my breath because it was so cold.
The women started giggling because of the cold.
I never experienced such a cold climate like that, and it was really a big shock for me.
We said we had coats, and they said, oh, we have jackets. They had little windbreakers.
Minnesota's cold, but the hearts are warm here.
They asked me where I was from in Vietnam, and I said, I'm not from Vietnam, I'm from Laos. They say, Laos?
We assumed we would be getting people from Vietnam.
Where is Laos? We know nothing about Laos. And I told them that I'm Hmong from Laos, and they say, what Hmong? We never knew about Hmong.
Minnesota really did welcome the Hmong.
So you hear your grandma and grandpa and parents tell these stories, but this is such a good visual representation from the war to the crossing the river to the refugee camps here. It's such a good visual representation.
I would love to see this continue in the next 50 years.
You carry a legacy, you're building a legacy.
They always encourage their children to study hard, to become a doctor, become a lawyer, become medical professionals.
From doctors to lawyers to academics to teachers.
I decided that education would be a great pathway for me because I was so inspired by many of my teachers growing up.
To people in media.
I think about my career, being the first Hmong brother to work in this industry and become an anchor at the mainstream media level.
They told me that, they chose Diane's Place to be Restaurant of the Year.
My name is Michael Vang. I'm the first Hmong American professional soccer player.
My name is Kali Her, and I'm proud to stand before you today as the first Asian and the first woman mayor-elect for the city of St. Paul.
I've been in the United States for 49 years, and so I understood that this was significant for our community.
Go and board up every houses owned by Hmong people. Board up every business that are owned by Hmong people. You will see the impact of the Hmong community in the state of Minnesota. And I think that's pretty visual and very powerful.
I mean, we're a small restaurant in Northeast Minneapolis. So to be on Food and Wine's list nationally, it's pretty amazing. The food here, simple comfort, I call it. Simple comfort food. Growing up, anybody that came to a house, they never leave empty-handed. They have to eat dinner or have, a glass of wine or, have a drink with my dad. And I didn't put the two and two together of my world of growing up and my culinary world. I'm like, hey, this is all about taking care of people, and I've done it my whole life.
The pride that goes with it now is it's just unbelievable.
All eyes looking up here. When I first started teaching, a lot of the Hmong students spoke mainly Hmong. Very little English.
Learning a whole new language, an entirely different culture, has been especially hard for the Hmong of Laos.
For a long time, we want to speak English and navigate our society in the mainstream and leaving aside our Hmong language and culture.
But the older Hmong worry that their teenagers are already becoming Americanized in speech, in habits, and respect for elders.
The parents spoke mainly Hmong, very little English.
Most of them had no formal education.
And the students were very quiet, very reserved, very shy.
And that has evolved, and that has changed.
One of my uncles told me if I stop messing around with girls and focus on my education, if I get my bachelor's degree, he's going to buy me a Trans Am. Back then, Trans Am was, Firebird was very popular. He still owes me that Trans Am. But even, you know, people always encourage and incentivize young people to go to school.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Public schools have really offered that opportunity to say, we want to embrace all cultures and we want to learn about other cultures.
Respecting them, respecting their cultural ways, their family status. Those were all things that we had to practice.
It was basically isolation.
But still, their fight for acceptance continues.
It was very lonely when we arrived. I arrived here in the state. It was very lonely.
Lang and other Hmong have repeatedly had their tires slashed, windows smashed.
Well, I don't know whether they hate me or what.
They faced racism. They faced hostilities from people in their neighborhoods.
I mean, we were the only Hmong family in that whole, the only Asian family in the whole area, so we were clearly different.
So while there was resistance, and I don't pretend there aren't people that have some resistance, but overall, it was a very positive response.
We have the ability to adapt and the ability to acculturate, not assimilate.
Throughout the years, I've seen changes in also parents.
I wouldn't be here without them. I'm who I am because they pushed me to be who I am.
The struggles they'd endured.
Parents at the very beginning didn't know much English, but now parents are very involved in the schools. They're able to help their kids with homework.
I have parents who have worked tirelessly. This is how you know it's old, because there are all these albums. Who has these physical albums anymore? They worked so hard. Oh, here we go. These are old school. Oh my gosh. Look,
this is my seat.
look at my dad's outfit. That's my older sister. Look at my dad's outfit. That's how you know it's old. Look how gnarly my dad's mullet is there. If that is not American, I don't know what is. That mullet. And that is true for, you know, lots of Hmong families, seeing parents work tirelessly to get their kids to where they need to be.
As Hmong American today and into the future, forget not where your parents came from. Know who you are. Be courageous.
Even though, you know, we came to this country, we knew nothing about this country.
I was worried about us here, those of us who already made it to America.
When we came here, we didn't know what we were going to do.
Hmong people at their core, they're farmers. They raised animals, they raised crops. You know, they harvested.
The people really like to farm, and they really want to get back to the land.
People worked just night and day and night.
But also to be very self-supporting citizens.
Some families work a couple of hours each day, others several days a week, often depending on what other jobs they have.
We have to work hard, so we have to be resilient and perseverance and pursuing our career and working hard.
The presence of Hmong growers and producers that are in the farmers markets is is absolutely a legacy of that time.
Hmong are extremely entrepreneurial, very adaptable to changing environment.
We would take any kind of job that they offer. I remember taking people on my station wagon and driving them around trying to find job and promising employers that I would be available to help translate and interpret when they need help and so on, just so that they can hire the refugees.
I would say that just looking at how the Hmong community has grown, where it's living, how it's contributing, it's given back so much in terms of its economic status.
The juxtaposition of like how different life was back then compared to now.
To be able to, to go to Hmong village and buy produce that you're familiar with. During the new year, buy clothing that you want to clothe your children in, and Hmong clothing. It's also very important for people. So we're kind of like the Hmong capital of the world. Minnesota is Hmong capital of the world. So, and we're proud of that as well.
I'm hoping that that the younger generation will carry on the torch from here and will study hard and will work hard and will achieve great things in life for our people and for this country.
Bây giờ mong có là focus đó cái sự cần chỉ có rong cha nằm một tuần đây có một cái chân chân đau cha hiện có ít tu thế có chỉ sát sát cái sơ cần gì cần giúp có chỉ có bé mong sơ xin lúc thế.
We have elders who have been able to usher us along, and so for the next 50 years, I hope we take that groundwork that our elders, our parents, our grandparents have laid for us. We take that groundwork, we take what we've been able to learn and done in our lifetimes and carry that forward so that the next generation after us can be even better and go even further.
I feel like we are going to have Hmong people in leadership position going forward, which will make them not only more visible, but more less need to be visible, because they're in leadership positions.
I think about all the firsts that came before me. I thought about how my grandfather, who was a colonel in the Secret War, Colonel Suyang, he was the first Hmong Methodist pastor in the world, and he was also the first police chaplain, first Hmong police chaplain in the country. I was always looking at his first and thinking how amazing he was.
I want more firsts. We got first soccer player, first gymnast, first news anchor.
And I never thought that I would be one of those people who would have firsts that would be added onto that.
Let's get more out there or get thirds, fourths, fifths, keep going. I think there's, the ceiling, it's so high.
Hai sống là dù dân hai tia nè vì do lần chia nè yu cha yu che yu là lần lo lu là lần mấy tia đi yu to gò mua rô lúa lần chia nè tu tàn đua li bỏ cái nè o mù đâu ý gì cho mong mù chỉ chú rong lần chia yu tu mù yu kí lo cho lu chạy lu tu nè wo cho lo tê mù wo tròn xe đó lu yuan đó gò mua nhỏ lo chạy là tu trừ trả đó lu cho xe mù nhỏ chín tê vì đó lu wo năng lý trong nhỏ đó lu chỉ rằng đó lu wo từ lo nè tao đó lu rằng mù wo bé đó lu tiền lý wo ý xe đại liền xe đó giống là tận cổ chùa chế tiền lý wo ý xe là lo số số cổ